Hello, Mrs. Rose is coming at you today from my first period accelerated 7th grade math class. We are working on lesson 6-3. It starts on page 371. Please remember, if you are at home or you're at home later watching this video, if there's any Wi-Fi issue or you don't understand what to do, should you begin working through the lesson on your own in the textbook using the teaching pages? Yes, thank you. I was hoping some people would answer that question. However, oh, you guys, this lesson could be so much more challenging if we only used their step-by-step explanation. I am here for you to make this lesson so much easier, simpler, faster to learn. First of all, let's look at the title. Similar triangles and slope. Please underline the word similar. Please underline the word slope. Similar triangles and slope. They're just showing you how similar triangles are related on the slope of a given line. How does the slope compare between any two pairs of points on a line? I want you to write this answer right now. It always stays the same. If two triangles can be formed on a single straight line, then, guys, I can't help it. I gotta say it. Then, duh, it's going to be the same slope because it's on the same line that is staying at the same angle from the top to the bottom. Am I right? Yes. So, duh. Okay, here we go. Now, check it out. I do need you to understand these symbols that they're giving you. It should be a review. You should already be familiar with this. When two triangles are similar, this would mean, first of all, by virtue of being a triangle, angle A would equal the same as angle what? Say it, class? X. Angle B, indicated by a double arc, would be congruent with angle what? Y. You can tell that they are marking them as being congruent to each other because they use single arc means congruent. Double arc means congruent. So triple arc also means what, class? Congruent. Do I have any questions about congruent angles and triangles? Okay. Then by the same notion, notice that side BC is going to correspond to side YZ. Do you follow how this makes sense? Yes. Do you follow how side XY is congruent to side AB? Yes. Notice this. If you were to create a fraction or a ratio of the side of my smaller triangle with the side of the larger triangle, what would that ratio say? 3 over what? 6. What does 3/6 simplify to? 1/2. Now watch this. Just like two similar triangles on a same slope will therefore be marked on the same slope measurement, they also, when you take a smaller side with its corresponding longer side, you will get a fraction that simplifies to the same thing every time you take another smaller side. Let's take the side labeled 5 over here on the top triangle. Let's take the top labeled 10 on the larger triangle. Again, take the smaller number. What is it? 5. Take the larger side number. What is it? 10. And what does it also simplify to? 1/2. Do you understand how similar triangles will always show a ratio that gives a relationship that is the same for every short side compared to every corresponding long side? Do I have any questions? Okay. So we are going to move now. Here's where I just got to take you guys straight to the actual practice page. I'll explain why in just a moment. Actually, I lied. I want us to practice before we get there. Just talking about, you don't have to write on these pages at all. Let's go first to page 372. I want you to think back to what we learned last week about slope. Whether it is positive, and for the camera, I discovered the other day, my blue ink doesn't show very well, so I'm going to use red or black as often as I can remember to do so. All right, remember we talked about using a yardstick or a ruler or any straight edge you have on you. Guys, on your paper, it could be your finger, right? and you follow along from left to right to determine, is it positive or negative slope? Class, what is the slope of this line?
Positive.
Positive. That means your amount will be a positive amount. Yes? So honestly, you don't even have to worry about figuring out, am I going up or down? Am I going left or right? You don't even have to worry about that. All you have to do is first determine, is it positive or negative? And here's the thing I wanted to teach you guys that I just feel like, duh, people, it makes sense. You don't have to worry so much about measuring every part of these triangles. What you have to understand is that these two additional legs of the triangle that are using the third edge or the third side from the line that is indicating the slope, they're just showing you rise over run. Do you realize that?
Yes.
And you can do rise over run either using 2 points that are closer to each other. So let's go ahead and plot 2 points on this example right now. Plot the point you see in black on my screen. Do you agree that's where the first leg of the triangle was drawn?
Yes.
Yes. And then plot the point where the other leg joins with the slope line. Do you understand why I'm having you mark those 2 points? Mark right at the point that the 2 legs of the triangle that are not on the slope line intersect with the slope line. Thumbs up if you understand so far. Okay, this is not hard, right? Now we already know our amount is going to be, did we say positive or negative?
Positive.
We said positive. So now we don't have to worry about which way we are heading. We can just go ahead and do rise over run. Are you ready? Here we go. I am taking and honestly, I'm going to do my triangle going the other way because like I said, I like to develop a habit and stick with it. So I'm going to do a triangle just like it. I'm going to count going upward until I'm across from my other plotted point. And this doesn't have any numbers, so we get to just count squares. So guys, as we go, count the squares for rise. 1, 2, 3, 4. What are you writing to the side? 4. Remember to do rise over run. And then my run consists of how many squares? 2. Please write 2 underneath. Do we agree that my triangle is identical to this triangle?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you prefer to use theirs, you could have done your rise going down. I just didn't want you getting confused and thinking it was negative. You could do your rise going down 1, 2, 3, 4. We still would have gotten 4. You could have done your run going this way 1, 2, and you still would have gotten 2. Now, here's the thing. If you were writing the exact values, you would have gotten negative 4 going down. You would have gotten negative 2 going across. And guys, what would a negative divided by negative therefore finally be? Positive. Simplify 4 over 2 or negative 4 over negative 2. What would it be?
Positive.
Positive 2. Everybody write positive 2 and circle. Wave if you understand. Raise your hand if you have a question about it. There's something that's not clear from what I just explained. All right, then we are ready to go to the very next slope that they show you. Everybody turn the page and just go to page 373. Go to the very next slope they show. Watch me run my ruler across the screen. Left to right, left to right. What is happening to my values on that slope?
It's going down.
Down. Write a symbol for what you believe this slope shall be. Then look up to see if your symbol matches mine. Yes? Wave at me if it does. Excellent job. And then ask yourself, how many spaces did they go for the vertical line? Again, you don't have to worry about if it's going up or down. You just count how many spaces. We already know the final slope will be negative because it is a negative slope when we do the left to right test. All right, count those spaces. How many spaces? And let's look at the numbers. This time they have numbers. So how far is it from 2 up to 8? How far is that, class? 6. Where do I place the 6? In the numerator or denominator?
Numerator.
In the numerator. Place a 6 in your numerator now, please. Then count your run. It goes from 1 to what? 4. How many spaces is that worth? 3. Now, guys, this time, it did count by ones both times, so it's less confusing, but always do pay attention to what their numbers are on both the y and the x-axis, because you have to tell the difference between the numbers. 4 take away 1 is 3. Final amount when you simplify this would be what?
Negative 2.
It would be negative 2. Beautiful job. Wave if you understand why it is negative 2. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Keep the negative symbol, negative 2. All right, this one we're not solving. We're just talking about the slope. Watch the ruler. Left to right, left to right. The value goes what and what? Higher and higher, so the slope is what? Positive. Excellent. Turn your page. Here's yet another slope. This time I am remembering to draw my red line through it. Left to right, value going what? Higher. If the value is going higher, the slope is therefore positive. Love your answers, guys. And then follow left to right, value is going what?
Lower.
So this slope is what? Negative. Guys, you are so catching on. And finally, this slope right here, left to right, value's going what and what? Higher and higher. Okay, so we know it is what? Positive slope. All right, let's head. We got one more. Okay, let's not skip anything. All right, on this final one, as I go left to right, the value's going what and what?
Lower.
Lower and lower. So this time it would be a what slope? Negative. You are absolutely right. Please go to the very first practice for tonight's homework. And remember, this is really just a continuation of what over what. Say the R words. Rise over run. Don't let them confuse you with all their cute little triangles. The graph of line M is shown. Use the similar slope triangles to compare the slope of segment RT and TV. So guys, they want you to compare from R to T and then compare from T to V. But I'm going to give you a whole new step. If they are not making you say what your rise over run was for each of these, just do one of them, because it will always simplify to exactly the same what? Slope. The same number, it will be the same slope. All right, so let's go ahead and practice. First of all, before you do anything else, run your straight edge across this graph. This time, do not say it out loud. Write it down on your paper right now, whether you think it's positive, negative, zero slope, or undefined. Remember, zero slope is when it just goes what? Horizontal. That's how you want the floor in a room to be. Straight, flat, horizontal, zero slope. And what is vertical? Undefined. Cannot happen. Okay, so from the R to the T, we are going to measure the slope of the line. What did you write down? First of all, what did you write down for your symbol? Don't say it, because I promised I don't want you to say it. You've already written it down, either positive or negative, yes? I hope this is what you wrote. Positive. Wave at me if you had already written positive before I wrote it. Great job. If you forgot to write it before I wrote it, then write it now. Okay, so now that we know it's positive, we don't really care about the negatives with the rise over run, do we? We're just going to count how many spaces in the vertical line representing rise. Say it, class. 2. Write it down. It is your what of the fraction or the ratio? Numerator. Now we're getting the denominator, because remember, rise over run. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many spaces? Do you agree that 2 represented our rise, 4 represented our run, and we can simplify this fraction to, don't say it out loud, write it down. Write it right now. I'm hoping you can do that quickly when you see that 2 is half of 4, so you realize the fraction is, now you may say it, 1/2. What is the slope for this line, both from R to T and from T to V? 1/2. Do you agree this line is staying at the same angle the whole time? I mean, if you just really want to do extra work, you could do rise over run here and go 1 for my rise, 2 for my run, and on that one you don't need to simplify. So clearly, if you use the smaller triangle, you might already have it simplified, so it might help you. All right, let's go to item number 2. The plans for a zip line are shown. Use 2 points to determine the slope of the zip line, then verify that the slope is the same by choosing a different set of points. Guys, I'm not going to make you do the second step. If they make you do it online, I think you know how to do it. Right now, all I'm worried about is, can you find the rise over run? Now, guys, you want to use a plotted point because that's where an intersection is, yes? Now, first tell me, is this going to be a positive or negative? Negative, so make yourself an answer box, and please put a negative symbol inside of it. Everybody draw this now, answer box with a negative symbol. Now, like I said earlier, let's go with the smaller triangle shape, yes? If they made you draw in the triangle, you get that you would just go like that and have this little triangle. Okay, now let's do the rise, which, by the way, I just marked. What is, hold on, no I didn't. I'm going to mark it over, yeah I did. You could go either way, either up and over. As I said before, I love to go up first and then over, but you can do it either direction. I'm going to do it my way this time. When I go up, how many spaces? Say it. Write that as your what? Numerator. Turn around, please, and face the front. I need you paying attention. All right, and then the run is how many spaces? 3. What are you going to write for the answer of slope? Negative 1/3. Wave if you feel like this is very, very doable and you're ready to start on the homework now. All right, that's it for me from now. I hope this helps.